Donald Trump had just walked in. Not with a crowd, not with flashing cameras or shouting reporters. Just him, dark suit, red tie, familiar expression, standing inside a KFC like it was the most normal place in the world to be. A woman near the back raised her phone slowly, unsure whether to record or not. A man nudged his friend and whispered, "Is that really him?" Someone chuckled nervously, convinced it had to be a lookalike. The manager noticed immediately. His shoulders stiffened. His eyes widened just enough to give him away. He glanced at the employees behind the counter, then back at the door, already running through scenarios in his head that no training video had prepared him for. Employees exchanged quick looks. One raised an eyebrow. Another leaned closer to the fryer, pretending to focus on work. No one spoke, but everyone felt it, that tight, electric shift in the room when something unexpected happens. Trump stepped into line calmly. Hands clasped in front of him, posture straight, expression neutral. He didn't wave. He didn't acknowledge the stares. He stood there like any other customer waiting to order lunch. That alone unsettled people. No speech. No announcement. No entourage pushing ahead. Just a public figure standing under fluorescent lights, menu boards glowing above him. The line moved slowly. Each step forward felt heavier than the last. Whispers followed him down the tiles. A phone camera clicked. Someone pretended to cough to hide the sound. Behind the counter, one young worker noticed his own heartbeat before he noticed anything else. It thudded in his ears, loud and fast. His palms grew damp against the register. He adjusted his red cap without realizing it. He told himself to breathe, to focus, to do what he always did. It's just another customer, he thought. But his chest tightened anyway. When Trump reached the front of the line, the restaurant felt like it had shrunk. Conversations faded. The fryer seemed louder, the air heavier. Trump stepped up to the counter. He looked directly at the young worker. For a brief second, neither of them spoke. The worker met his gaze. His face didn't show shock. It didn't show excitement either, just something quiet, something serious. Trump opened his mouth. "Afternoon," he said casually, voice steady. "I'll take." The young worker didn't move. His fingers stayed frozen above the register. The screen glowed, waiting for an order that wasn't coming. A soft beep sounded from the machine, then stopped. The worker swallowed. "I'm sorry," he said. The words were so quiet that at first, Trump thought he hadn't heard correctly. "I can't serve you." The sentence hung in the air. Someone near the soda machine stopped mid-pour. A customer let out a small, confused laugh, certain this had to be some kind of joke. The manager took an instinctive step forward, heart racing. Trump tilted his head slightly. "You can't," he asked. The worker's hands began to shake now, but he didn't step back. "No, sir," he said again. And just like that, a normal afternoon ended. Behind the register stood a young worker, barely out of his teens. His red KFC cap was pulled low, the brim slightly bent from months of use. The uniform fit neatly, but showed signs of long shifts, faint grease marks near the hem, creases that never fully pressed out. His name tag caught the overhead light every time he shifted his weight, flashing briefly like it wanted to be noticed. He had been on his feet since early morning. He looked up, and for a moment, his expression didn't change at all. No shock. No excitement. No smile or frown. Just stillness. Then something changed. Not anger. Not fear. Resolve. The kind that settles in quietly, without warning. The kind that doesn't ask permission. Trump stood on the other side of the counter, hands resting lightly on the edge. His posture was relaxed. His face showed mild curiosity, nothing more. He looked like a man expecting nothing unusual, because most of the time, nothing was. "Afternoon," Trump said, voice casual, polite. "I'll take." The sentence didn't finish. The young worker didn't move. His fingers stayed hovering above the register buttons, frozen mid-task. The glowing screen reflected faintly in his eyes. A soft electronic beep sounded, an automatic reminder to start the order, then fell silent. "I'm sorry," the young worker said quietly. The words were soft, almost careful, as if he were testing them out loud. Trump paused. Not the dramatic kind of pause people imagine, but a real one. The kind that happens when something doesn't follow the expected script. The fryer hissed behind them. Ice rattled in a soda cup. Somewhere near the back, a chair scraped the floor. "I can't serve you," the worker added. The sentence dropped into the room like glass hitting tile. Sharp, sudden, impossible to ignore. People leaned closer without realizing it. One customer let out a small, nervous laugh, convinced this had to be some kind of joke, or maybe a prank. Another lowered their phones slowly, unsure whether to keep recording. The manager took a quick step forward, heart pounding. "Hey," he started, then stopped himself. Trump raised an eyebrow. Not in anger, not even surprise. "You can't," he asked, voice level. The young worker felt his throat tighten. His hands were shaking now. He could feel it, see it, but he didn't pull them back. He pressed his palms lightly against the counter, grounding himself. "No, sir," he said. The room seemed to hold its breath. Trump studied him more closely now. Not like a crowd studies a figure on a stage, but like one person actually looking at another. "How old are you?" Trump asked. The question wasn't sharp. It wasn't mocking, just curious. 17, the worker replied. Another murmur moved through the restaurant. 17. Trump nodded slowly, as if noting a detail that mattered. "And you're refusing service," he said. "Yes, sir." The manager shifted nervously. He leaned toward the worker, lowering his voice. "Son," he whispered, "this isn't how we do things. Let me handle this." The worker shook his head just slightly, not disrespectful, just firm. "I need to say this," he replied. Trump glanced briefly at the manager, then back at the worker. "Go on," he said. The permission stunned the room. The worker swallowed hard. His chest felt tight, like he'd been holding his breath for years without realizing it. He glanced down at the counter for a split second, then lifted his eyes again. "I don't hate you," he said. "This isn't about making a scene." His voice wavered, but didn't break. "But when I see you," he continued, "I think about my family, about my mom." The noise in the restaurant faded into background hum. "She worked 2 jobs," he said. "One of them was here, same counter, same smell, same long hours." Trump didn't interrupt. "She got sick," the worker went on. "She didn't have insurance. She kept working anyway, because missing one paycheck meant losing everything." His hands shook harder now. "She passed away last year." No one laughed this time. No one whispered. The worker met Trump's eyes again. "So today," he said softly, "I just can't pretend this is a normal order." Silence filled the space between them. Heavy, real. And for the first time since walking in, Trump didn't look like a man waiting to be served. He looked like a man listening. Trump didn't raise his voice. He didn't smile either. "Why not?" he asked. The young worker took a breath. The kind of breath you take before saying something you've carried for years. "My mom worked 2 jobs," he began. "One of them was right here. She stood behind this counter for 10 hours a day." The restaurant felt smaller. "She got sick, really sick. No insurance, no backup. She still came in because missing one shift meant rent didn't get paid." No one interrupted him. "She passed away last year." A customer lowered their phone. The worker looked Trump in the eye. "I don't hate you. This isn't politics for me. But when I see you, I think about policies, speeches, arguments on TV, and how none of them helped her when she needed it." The silence deepened. "So today," he said, voice barely above a whisper, "I just can't pretend everything is normal." For a long second, Trump said nothing. This wasn't a rally. No crowd to win. No debate to dominate. Just a grieving young man and a fast food counter. The manager, was about to step in when Trump raised a hand. "I understand," he said slowly. That surprised everyone. He nodded once, not defensive, not dismissive. "Thank you for telling me," Trump added. He stepped back from the counter. No argument, no scene. As he turned to leave, the young worker exhaled for the first time since speaking. His knees nearly gave out. Another employee grabbed his arm. Customers stood frozen. Then someone started clapping. Softly, awkwardly. One clap turned into a few, not for Trump, not against him either. But for a young worker who told his truth when it terrified him most. Trump paused near the door, looked back once, then walked out. The rush didn't come back right away. People ordered quietly. Conversations were hushed. The fryer hummed like nothing had happened, but everyone knew it had. The young worker finished his shift. No cameras followed him home. No interviews waited outside. Just a bus ride, a tired body, and a heart that felt strangely lighter. The story spread later, online. Comment sections exploded, some angry, some proud, some arguing as always. But inside that KFC, something rare had happened. Not a protest. Not a headline. Not a viral stunt. Just a human moment. A reminder that behind uniforms, behind power, behind politics, there are stories we never see.